as fuck.
Absolutely.
I've been ripping his fucking thing. I know, but I'm having a good combo here. What? I
Yo,
can't
who's
fucking
who's
talk about
who's
this shit.
who's
Yeah,
pressing
what's wrong with that?
Tom?
Oh my God.
Oh
Wait,
fuck! It's the fart day.
My chat is saying you're pressing Tom. What's
Well,
happening? What
it's
did I
the
What
miss?
happened?
big
My
show.
chat, my
It's
chat's
fucking
saying
the
Oh.
fart day.
that Tom's being pressed. I just want to know what's happening. What's the
No, I
context?
wasn't. I
You
wasn't
got
necessarily
no,
called
no,
out.
no, bro.
But
Nah, they were telling. Everybody
There's
was
something
saying
he
press in
said.
the
I know
chat.
they're
It wasn't
gassing
that
it. I know
much of
they're
a press,
gassing it,
bro.
but
I've
like, I just
known
want to
Ray for
know.
years, bro. Like,
I know that's definitely not true because they over exaggerated. But like, what's the context? What happened?
I was just. I mean, I was just fucking around, coming in a troll a little bit. But I was asking
Oh,
Tom why people on the show were saying that we were ass after losing our first two matches in Major Four, while thieves were doing the same, and we were just calling them like obviously having a slump. I was curious about the double standard there.
I think it's
I don't
just
know who.
because like
I
I
don't
think
remember
it's
who
just
said it, but
roster wise, they like have like proven talent while your team is just young and has like not proven talent, like still question marks, like how their career is going to develop, right? So I think that's
uh,
probably all it is.
I
Like
mean,
there's like an
fair.
expectation that we have people to like make,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
then
No, I mean, I get it. I'm just more so like, tell me which teams we've lost to until we lost the optic. That wasn't thieves or Faze.
yeah, nah,
Answer is
you're right
zero.
on that. I mean, it's the same.
I
I
just.
mean,
I don't know.
that narrative gets not even with you guys. That narrative with like people. Sometimes people don't even realize the strength of schedule. Like is like how we perceive teams. Sometimes is like throws people off, and so you have to like look at a team objectively with who they beat and who they lose to. But I mean, yeah, no,
I get it.
you're
I
not
mean,
wrong
I
on
was
that.
just kind of. There was nothing too serious in what I was saying. It was
But I
more so
will
just.
say, our comments, even if they are wrong at times, I think it adds to the storylines of like the teams that break that mold, which is I think why we praise your team so highly now. Because
No,
like,
I get that.
yeah,
I think there's something also to be said about like I'm not necessarily disagreeing with what you just said. It's more so the way you guys can drive the narrative in both ways can drastically affect the fan bases of teams
oh yeah,
and so
no,
on and so
no,
forth. So you guys have a big. I
100%.
mean, you guys like same with the Scump Watch Party. Anyone who kind of has a reach has a big impact on every team in the league. So just
Oh yeah, I'm fully under the belief that we sometimes cause roster changes. I'm not even gonna lie, but
I don't know if
to a
it's to that
degree,
extent, but
to a
sure.
degree,
If you want to go there,
definitely
you
get in the
can.
heads
I
of certain
mean,
But
people.
I think
I'm gonna be honest. If we want to go there, then I think these organizations are brain dead if they're just making decisions based on what we say in the flank. Make your own fucking decisions.
no, no, of course
Watch
not.
your
No, no,
own
I
Call of
never.
Duty. Hire your own people. Right? Lock
I
in
didn't
on
say
your own
that. I
camp.
said, Tom, I was talking about the fan bases, not necessarily the orgs themselves.
Oh
Like the
yeah,
fans in
yeah,
But
yeah.
general.
No,
I will
I'm just saying.
say,
If we're gonna like, I feel like there's a lot of organizations, right, that do what y'all do, that actually take the time to look and actually build this shit the right way, and actually do shit the right way, and actually fucking pay attention to what's going on, especially challengers.
listen,
I mean,
outside of
you've done a good job making good pickups and making and turning the Vancouver team around, right? Like you've done a good job at that. A lot of these teams, right, don't even know what's going on. They don't know what's happening. They're
Would
not
you?
like
So tell me, like, out of curiosity, which teams would you say that? I mean, without, I don't want to really get to a point where I'm fucking talking about other teams, but obviously we handle our business and do our
I
business. But
mean, bro, I think you can say that about most teams at the bottom have made like pretty bad roster changes for the most part. Like, they made
would
some
you
pretty bad.
say that all of those
C9 should
decisions?
have made changes sooner. Ravens literally like butchered their entire season, and like they still. I don't even if they continue to not make changes with them having a safe spot in champs, I'm blown. And
No, hold
I don't
on.
know
Well,
where
this is
the.
where it gets dicey, though, because we say that bottom teams made bad changes, right? Dylan Rex was absolutely frying in challengers, great pickup. Lunars was the best man AR in challengers. Everyone was talking about Fellow again in
oh,
challengers. Everyone
oh
was talking
well,
about Johnny.
yeah,
So
yeah.
I don't think
So
their initial moves
There's
are
a lot of
necessarily
hindsight
oh
bad.
wait,
going
hold
on in
on.
some of
So
these
no,
like
hold on, hold on. We're not.
opinions.
No. We're not saying. So I don't mind change
That's
as
true
long as
too,
for the
right?
most
That is
part
true.
I don't mind change as long as for the most part it's within a good timing. Like for example, I like C9's team. Granted, they're probably not going to make champs. They should have done that shit 100%
Kind
way
of.
sooner. And the fact that they didn't do it is probably why they are not making champs. In terms of like Ravens, like I don't mind their pickup like at all. I don't think Dylan Rex is a bad player, and I don't think he's a culprit as to why they're like bad. For example, so
Hindsight
I don't know.
Duarte. It's hindsight Duarte.
I
That's
mean,
not hindsight.
Chris,
That's not
see it this
hindsight.
way though.
I know
Like,
that's what they're saying
let's
in
say
the chat.
let's say hypothetically C9 was having really good scrims. Let's just say the worst team in the league. Let's say I don't know, like let's say the Falcons are at the bottom of the leaderboard, right? In points. Let's say they were having
Mhm.
incredible scrims throughout the year. Obviously, that probably wasn't the case, but just from the sake of you guys don't see everything going on behind the scenes, let's say the team's performing well in scrims and just can't emulate that in matches. Obviously, there comes a point you need to make a change, But if your team, let's say your team's winning 75% of their games in their scrims, and then they show up to matches and just can't show up or
I
do the
also
right
think
things.
that. Sorry, my bad. Just continue, because then you can finish.
Yeah, I was more so just getting to the
Yeah,
point
I'm
where
too faded for
like
this.
yes, you have to pull the plug at some point, but I feel like you guys believe pulling the plug is way easier than it actually is at times, and
I just think if that's the case, people are just overvaluing their scrim results. Like, bro, scrims should be viewed as practice. Yes, they matter, right? Like, but
I
in my
unlocked that to
opinion,
the
as long
flank,
as you
chat.
are keeping maps competitive, I don't give a fuck what a map count is, because keeping a map competitive is usually like it basically just means you have a good understanding. If you're one day literally not getting points against another team consistently, and another day frying, that is just you still need a roster change. Like, you should strive for consistency, not for perfection in terms of like when it comes to your scrims, in my opinion. When it, like, you know what I mean? So like, yeah, I'm sure that there are teams that might have like decent scrims, but they go to matches and they get fucking horked on. Those matches should be the final indicator and the main reason that you make changes. And I know, like,
I mean,
there's
I don't
probably other
disagree. I don't
like,
want to cut you off, but just kind of like
yeah,
respond to that point there. Like there comes a point where also we just don't play that many matches anymore. We scrim like comparatively to when we like me and you
yeah, yeah,
competed way back in the day. Like I'm not saying our scrim to match ratio was any different, but when you showed up to an event, you're playing like I don't know, let's say anywhere between 6 and 13 matches on the weekend. Is that fair?
yeah, yeah.
Like somewhere in that range. So you have a lot more to go on, and obviously assessing your roster past an event like that makes a big difference.
Mm-hmm.
But if we're talking like from a like using online qualifiers or even majors, like I mean, fuck, some teams are literally struggling online, play like go I don't know like 2-4 or 2-5 in a qualifier and show up to land, start and lose bracket, lose one match and they're out. Like
Yeah.
it's just a small sample size, and it's not. I'm not disagreeing with what you're saying. It makes total sense, and yes, your performance are reflected on your matches, and that's what matters at the end of the day. So if your team's struggling, you obviously shouldn't try making a change if you feel like a change can make you better.
Yeah,
But it's
no,
just not
actually,
always. I just more so saying it's not always as like
I,
blue skies and simple decision making
yeah,
as
yeah,
it
yeah.
kind of
But
seems
I'm
sometimes
also
on the
under the
outside.
firm belief that for most teams, when they make a change, it usually will not make them worse, especially if like they're doing it early in a season where like talent, like where like people that are going to be good at that game, whether they're in challengers or like maybe sitting out from the pro league, whatever. You know, those people are going to be good based on how they start with challengers, because challengers, they get a lot more reps in earlier than pros do. Like they scrim a lot more, they play a lot of more like tournament stuff. Like you guys did it with Neptune. Like there was a world where maybe you guys pick up Neptune and like you guys stay the same, but there's no way you get worse, for example, and it ended up paying off. And I firmly believe that's the case for most of these teams early in the season, where usually after a stage, maybe if I'm being generous, a second stage, like they know if they need a roster change. If you're waiting 3 stages to make a change, you're already lost. Like it's over.
I mean, let's just take the Ravens for example. They made their change at the start of the last stage, right?
Oh, those guys are
at
horrible,
the
Ray.
end of
Horrible.
at the
Horrible.
end of the last stage, at the end
They
of the
don't
last
even
stage.
move on a map,
Right.
Ray. They don't even
Midway
move.
through.
So major three, right? So they had a good major one. They finished, was it fourth? They finished fourth there, right? They lost the Miami and loser semis.
Let me stop talking,
Yeah.
And I'm
man.
pretty sure they had a decent record online as well. So obviously had a good start to the year and got where they accumulate most of their points that are kind of pulling them through the champs. But then they had a rough second major, and then they're looking to make a change. Is that not an acceptable
Yeah, yeah.
timeline in your
Oh yeah,
opinion?
no, theirs is acceptable. They bought themselves time. Like I don't mind when they changed the Dylan Rex for Vivid situation, like at all. I don't mind the timeline. But now their change, right, was at a good time. It's just not working out, and it's not necessarily because of Dylan's fault. I don't think, because I think he's playing pretty good in most of their matches where they are like somewhat decently competitive. Their problem is they need to make they're probably gonna need to make more. Like the level that their team is playing at now, I don't think is just going to improve overnight. Like they have time with Dylan. I feel like they've reached their ceiling with Dylan, and whether they decide to keep him or like change another player on the roster is what they need to decide. Because like the fact that they're making champs in itself with how they performed this season at the beginning is a blessing. But now they shouldn't squander it, because I think if they don't make a change again, they're probably going to squander that opportunity. But
I
I
mean,
gotta go. So
you're good.
I gotta go. But
Good
it was
chat, man.
nice talking to you guys. Bye bye.
Later, Duarte. The fourth day. That was a good talk, bro. I'm gonna be honest, Ray. I'm just so faded.
You want
like,
Rambo? I'll beat the freak out of Parasite for you.
You're good.
Yeah, Sweetie's got you, Ray. No,
That
Give
was
me the
actually a
word.
proper
Fuck.
conversation.
I'm
for once.
fucking
Okay.
muted, bro. I'm so dude. I'm so fucking dumb, right, bro. I'm just faded, bro.